everyone, and welcome back to another Storytime video. Today, I am going to talk about how I started to love football, with football season kind of getting into the swing of their seasons. College football will be in week 3 this weekend, and the NFL will be in week 2 this weekend. Now, longtime viewers might know from watching previous Storytime videos of mine that for college, I'm a South Carolina Gamecocks fan, and for the NFL, I'm a Panthers fan. I'm a Carolina Panthers fan. So, how did I get to this route of misery? Now, the misery part I won't touch on, but how did I become a football fan? It all started back when I had, back in, I think I was in the first grade. I think it was first grade. Yeah, it was first grade. Um, my best friend at the time liked football, and I wanted to. Well, I considered him my best friend at the time. I don't know if he felt the same way, but I wanted him to kind of like me more. Um, em, I know, first grade logic, very sound, but I wanted him to like me. So, and I knew that he liked football, or at least somehow I figured out that he did. So I also started to love football because I uh, wanted him to be my best friend, and eventually it did work to where all the way through the 8th grade, he was my best friend. But that's another story for another day. Anyway, that's not how I was necessarily able to succeed in him becoming my best friend. I should tell that story one day. Anyway, so um I remember liking football and falling in love with it starting in the first grade because I don't remember watching any football prior to first grade at all. Now, I remember watching the Super Bowl that year. I remember uh, being involved in it. Well, not I say being involved in it as if I played. No, I didn't. But I remember like knowing teams and starting to figure out teams, like especially for college. Like one year, um, I remember Texas played Texas Tech, and I was like, oh, I guess Texas Tech is a team that I should know about. So uh, this was back in an age where I know books were available, but it wasn't really to the extent that well, you couldn't get knowledge on these teams to the extent that you could get. And um so it was a little slower for me to learn about um teams like Vanderbilt, Northwestern, the quote unquote power four they have, but the lesser known, the more terrible Indiana, for instance, those types of power four teams. Oregon State, yeah, I know they're not power four, but still. Um, and so, um, but it was fun learning about all that stuff, and I remember uh trying to stay up at various times when I was in third and fourth grade. And I distinctly remember my parents basically had a rule for me whenever I was watching the Sunday night football game with um on NBC. It still is, but I remember my parents basically had a rule when I was growing up. Uh, 9:30 or halftime, whichever comes first. And yeah, it was 9:30 or halftime, whichever came first, and it always sucked whenever 9:30 came first, especially when a team was driving down the field. Sometimes when my dad was a little more strict on the rules in terms of that, because had school the next morning. My mom was a little more chill in that regard, to where if a team was driving down the field and it turned to 9:30, even if it wasn't halftime, she would let me watch the end of that drive to see if that particular team that had the ball would score. Of course, sometimes they did, sometimes they didn't. I think that's fairly obvious. But that was awesome. And of course, watching the Saturday night game with my dad and, well, especially my dad, but my mom sometimes. That was awesome. My mom is more into the NFL. My dad is not that big into football, and uh, I am more into college than I am the NFL, because for me, it's easier. Ironically, it's easier for me to watch a lot more football on Saturday than it is for me to watch fewer games on Sundays. I don't know why, but it's easier or exactly why. I have my theories and I kind of know to a certain extent why that is, but it's easier for me to watch football on Saturdays than it is on Sundays. But yeah. That's kind of some of my memories with football and how I started to love football. And no, I have not watched my teams win anything. I've never watched South Carolina win a conference. I've never watched the Panthers win a Super Bowl. And I don't know if I ever will win or watch either team win either one of those two things. I don't know if I'll even watch or see Carolina win a or South Carolina win a playoff game in this new 12-team format. And see us, guys. I do believe that will do it for this Storytime video and next Storytime video. I will see you later. Goodbye, guys. Thank you all for watching.